What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to another video, and today we're reviewing the Maono PM422. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So yes, this is the PM422 model. It's a good microphone, and I definitely recommend it over the A04 model. Yes, it does sound much cleaner than the original model of the A04, and it's totally worth its price. Overall, it is a microphone that I could definitely recommend. Today, we are revisiting the A04 model and figuring out what's going on. Now, I've already done my research, and I did do some investigation, and in the end, it pretty much matches up with what I thought with the first reported comments that I was seeing when they came in. So after reading all those comments halfway through 2020, many months later after I reviewed it back in September 2019, remember those good old days? I don't. All of a sudden getting comments that were telling me that it was bad. So yeah, my first thought was that they have definitely changed something on the inside of the microphone, and the other one was maybe that people had bad USB grounding. It happens, sometimes you have a bad laptop or an old computer, and it doesn't have the best USB grounding and you'll end up with some bad audio, and a whole lot of interference and noise and such and such. Maono got in touch with me a couple times. The first time I gave them my info and they forgot about me, maybe someone left the company, I don't know. Several months later, they contact me again from a different person, and lo and behold, they asked me to review their latest model, which of course a lot of you have been interested in, and so was I, and I wanted to see what they have next in store for us, because their performance of the original model was pretty great. So during that email chain, I asked them about the USB microphone naming issue, why is the new model called USB microphone and not Realtek, and the other one asking them why I'm getting a lot of comments telling me that the microphone sounds pretty bad. Well, long story short, they asked the engineers and whatnot, and they told me that, well, the response was that they have changed it from Realtek to USB microphone to lessen the confusion for people, fair point. The other one was that, in fact, the microphone still had a Realtek chip inside of it. So naturally, I get another one, unbox it, plug it in, and what do you know, it doesn't sound good. It sounds pretty bad, and it sounds like it's got a lot of boom and a lot of distortion when you're talking to it really close. And I was like, okay, that's not right, and something definitely has changed on the inside. And if we go ahead and take apart the other one here, and yes, it's that easy to take apart, which is something that I should have done in the original video, and I'll make sure to do it with this model, just in case. And as you can see here, something has definitely changed. Now, they didn't lie about anything. The name changes whatever, but it's an indicator of something that has changed on the inside. At first glance, it looks pretty similar, but there's a whole lot of difference. We got this extra chip right here, the capacitors have changed position, and we got an extra one this time too. And we do in fact still have the Realtek chips. But, and that's a big but, it's a completely different chip. The original model serial number ended with a 42, while the new one ended with 50. So of course they're not lying about the Realtek chip, but it's a completely different chip and a whole lot has changed in the hardware, which as a result completely changed how the microphone sounded. Once you start speaking into them, you'll notice a huge difference between the two. The original one sounds really good, you can speak literally into it, while the new one will completely distort when you speak right into it. Well, I was like, alright, what's going on here? There's less hardware on the original model, while the new one had a whole lot of stuff, more caps, another chip, and this little rotatable dial right here, which is kind of a mini gain knob of itself. I tried it, and on my testing, all I heard was a slight difference in volume. And here's what they look like without the top filter. We're going to swap out the capsules and see if they sound any different. Here's a quick microphone test about 3 inches away from the old capsule onto the new microphone. And this is what it sounds like. If you hear any pops, rattling, or interference, feel free to ignore those. This is a test with the new capsule onto the old microphone, speaking about 3 inches away. If you hear any pops, rattling, or noise, feel free to ignore those. And the last thing I want to talk about here before we go ahead and conclude this investigation video, if we go ahead and take a look at the dates on these PCBs, they pretty much match up with the reports that I was getting. These comments started rolling out around May and June, which is obviously a clear sign that there's something wrong with this microphone. But overall, all I can say is that this microphone sounds much better than the old model and the new model combined. It's got a gain knob, it's got a mute switch, a headphone jack, the whole shebang, and it's of course very well priced for what you get here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the insides to see if they are using the same exact chip. There's a whole lot more going on this time. And the moment of truth, would you look at that? And what do you know, it's using the 42 chip just like the original A04 model. Now I'm currently talking with the PM422 for a couple of reasons. One of them, cut the video short, give you guys an idea of what it sounds like, and I also wanted to share this information with Maono and see what they have to say. Which they in fact did within a couple hours. They got the engineers involved, their CEO notified, and they replied back to me with an email explaining on what's happening. So they explained that they in fact do some incremental changes over the lifetime of the product. Sometimes they're just to improve the product or speed up manufacturing, or in this case, parts that were used in the original design are now low in stock. Specifically, the Realtek ALC4042 chip. And why, you may ask? Well, here's what a Maono rep has to say. It is not only us that has been affected. The entire microphone industry is in a short supply of critical chips. Realtek has stopped manufacturing for months because they believe that there will be less of a demand. However, the demand surged because of people needing microphones for applications such as online classes and streaming. And that's part of the reason why you see even big players such as Razer and Blue have their products out of stock for months. So essentially what happened here, Maono was forced to use whatever ALC4042 chips they had on their higher end PM422 microphone. And to keep up with the A04 demand, they had to quickly rework the board design to work with the new available ALC4050 chip. Now, although the 4050 chip is an upgraded version of the 4042 with extra features, it actually has lower input impedance compared to the ALC4042. Components like the 3-peak TP09 SR chip, which is basically an amplifier to compensate for the lack of volume on the ALC4050. Long story short, it doesn't sound the same as the original because of manufacturing problems caused by the pandemic. So what do I recommend at this point? Well, I was going to start recommending the PM422 over the A04 anyways because of the extra features and functions that you get, and yes, it is totally worth the extra cash. But now I have a bigger reason to recommend it at least until things are back to normal, which really, who knows when. So for those that have been waiting for an update video, well, here it is. Hope this clears up what's going on. I know it's been a long while, but I hope this video makes up for it. So get yourself a PM422, and I think you're going to be pretty happy with its performance, especially of course when it's processed. And yes, a review video is still in the works, alongside a video on how to edit, or actually use a virtual mixer to make your microphone sound much better. So until then, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care everyone.